Before we dive into this dark investigation, make sure you subscribe, like, and drop a comment, because what you're about to hear will stay with you long after the screen goes dark. The rain had stopped only minutes earlier, but Chancellor Avenue still glistened under the streetlights like a strip of broken glass. Police sirens wailed through the cold November air, painting the neighborhood in flashing red and blue. People stood on porches, wrapped in blankets, faces pale, whispering as detectives pushed through the crowd with urgency. Newark had seen violence before, but nothing like this, not with a child involved. Detective Marla Dawson stepped out of her unmarked sedan, boots splashing into puddles. She'd been with Essex County Major Crimes for 9 years, but tonight felt different. That same tightening in her chest she used to feel before a bad storm. She ducked under the yellow tape and headed toward the cluster of officers standing beside a silver SUV riddled with bullet holes. Inside were the 2 bodies. A 10-year-old boy in the back seat, slumped over as if he had simply fallen asleep. And in the passenger seat, a 21-year-old woman, her hand still gripping her phone as though trying to make one last call. The scene was silent except for the radio chatter, the kind of silence that makes investigators feel like the street itself is holding its breath. Marla forced herself to observe every detail. The shattered rear window, the scatter of shell casings across the asphalt, the trail of footprints leading toward an alley that cut between 2 rundown apartment blocks, a possible escape route. She crouched beside the SUV, the reflective vest of the crime scene tech glowing like a ghost in the dark. Who called it in? Anonymous. Blocked number. Caller hung up before dispatch could get a trace. Anonymous callers weren't unusual. Anonymous callers reporting 2 dead bodies was something else. Across the street, another detective approached with his notepad. Survivors said the shots came out of nowhere. No argument, no warning, just an eruption. Marla's eyes tracked the bullet pattern. Controlled grouping, no wild spray. Someone who knew how to shoot, and someone who meant to kill. She walked toward the alley. The smell of damp brick and trash cans hit instantly. A cat darted past her, spooked by the intrusion. Further in, beneath the broken fire escape, she spotted it. A small scrap of fabric caught on a rusted bolt. Dark, rough texture. Maybe a jacket. Maybe the suspect's. Before she could reach for it, her partner, Detective Eli Torres, called out from behind her. "Marla, you need to see this." His tone wasn't urgent, it was worse. Careful, measured, the way a cop sounds when he's processing something he wishes he hadn't found. She returned to the street, where Eli pointed to the SUV's front seat. The phone in the victim's hand had lit up, receiving a new message. A name, a timestamp, and 7 chilling words. Words that would flip the case on its head. "You weren't supposed to bring the kid." Marla froze, pulse kicking hard. Someone was waiting for her. Someone who knew the victims. Someone who wasn't done. And this message, this single haunting sentence, meant the shooting was no random act.
It was a setup, a betrayal, a trap, and the real story was just beginning. Detective Marla Dawson stared at the glowing phone screen, the rain dripping from the brim of her coat. That message, "You weren't supposed to bring the kid," hung in the cold air like a grim accusation. In cases like this, texts were never just texts. They were confessions, warnings, and in the worst moments, countdowns. Eli Torres leaned over her shoulder, his jaw clenched. "This wasn't a drive-by," he muttered. "Someone arranged this. She was meeting someone." "Or someone lured her," Marla replied. "And the boy? He was collateral." They backed away as a forensic tech carefully bagged the phone. The crime scene, still echoing with distant helicopter blades, felt heavier now. No longer the aftermath of violence, but the opening scene of something orchestrated. Across the street, neighbors huddled together, whispering. One woman pointed toward an older brick duplex at the corner. "She lived there," she said softly. "The young woman. She kept to herself, but the past few days there were cars we didn't recognize. Unmarked cars, short visits, engines running. The kind of activity that always suggested someone was in trouble but didn't know how to ask for help. Marla and Eli canvassed the building, climbing the narrow staircase to the victim's apartment. Inside, the place was tidy, but too tidy. Minimal furniture, sparse decorations, a space that looked more like someone planning to leave than someone building a life. "Check this," Eli called from the kitchen. A stack of envelopes lay on the counter. Most were blank, but one had a return address scratched out so hard the paper nearly tore. Under a lamp on the small dining table, Marla noticed a notebook. The first pages were normal: grocery lists, reminders, phone numbers. But further in, the handwriting shifted, tighter, rushed, and then a line that made Marla's throat tighten. "If something happens to me, it's because of him." No name, no initials, just him. A shadow, a threat, a ghost haunting the edges of the victim's life. Eli shot her a look. "You're thinking what I'm thinking?" "Someone close," Marla replied. "Someone she trusted until she didn't." Before they could process it further, a voice echoed from outside. "Detectives, you should see this." They stepped into the hallway, where a patrol officer pointed to the stairwell. Wedged behind the fire extinguisher box was a small plastic device, black, blinking faintly. A camera. The building was being watched. "Who found it?" Marla asked. "The maintenance guy doing the night rounds. He thought it was broken." Marla crouched to inspect it, and her blood ran cold. The lens wasn't facing the hallway. It was angled directly at the victim's apartment door. "Someone kept eyes on her," Eli said quietly, "but for how long?" Marla lifted the device with gloved hands. Its underside was scratched, but one smear stood out. A partial fingerprint smudged across the battery compartment. A clue, a lead, maybe even a signature. But just as hope sparked, her phone buzzed in her pocket. Another message. Unknown number, no caller ID. 7 new words. "Stop digging, detective, or someone else pays." Her hand trembled. The threat wasn't distant anymore. It was personal. And whoever sent it knew her name. The message burned through Marla's mind as she stood in the dim hallway. "Stop digging, detective, or someone else pays." Eli saw her expression and stepped closer. "What is it?" She handed him the phone. His jaw tensed. "They're watching us now." "This isn't just about the shooting anymore," Marla said. "Someone thinks we're getting too close." Downstairs, officers continued clearing the building, searching for any other signs of surveillance. But Marla already felt the shift. Whoever orchestrated this was confident enough to send a threat to a homicide detective in the middle of a crime scene. A criminal cocky enough to believe they were untouchable.
Hours later, back at the precinct, the forensics team worked on the camera. At nearly 2 a.m., Marla and Eli sat in the observation room as the tech finally walked in, holding a USB drive. "We pulled one partial print, and you're going to want to see this." The screen flickered, loading the grainy footage from the hidden camera. For the first several minutes, the hallway was empty. Then, movement. A figure approached the victim's apartment. Hood up, hands gloved, face tilted downward. But the way they moved, slow, controlled, confident. It didn't feel like someone stalking a victim. It felt like someone returning to their own door. The figure used a key, entered quietly, stayed inside for 6 minutes, then left, locking the door behind them. They had access, Eli whispered. This wasn't random. Run the print, Marla said. The tech nodded. Already did. Came back with a hit. Marla leaned forward, bracing herself. The name that appeared on the screen made her heart drop. Luis Calderon, her brother's childhood friend. Someone she grew up with. Someone who used to sit in her parents' kitchen, eating cereal and laughing at stupid cartoons. Someone who disappeared from Newark years ago after falling into the wrong crowds. Louis? Eli said. The same Louis who... Yes, Marla's voice was barely a whisper. He knows me. He knows my family. And he knew how to get her number. Her mind raced. Louise had a history with the victim. They'd been close once, too close. A relationship that fell apart when she tried to distance herself from his increasingly dangerous world. The pieces snapped together painfully. The meeting, the message, the betrayal, the warning text addressed to her directly. He wasn't leaving witnesses, not even investigators. Marla stood. We need to bring him in. But before the warrant could be issued, a call came through dispatch, urgent, breathless. Unit 12 requesting immediate backup. Shots fired. Suspect fleeing a warehouse near the old South Iron Yard. Eli met Marla's eyes. Louis? It has to be. They raced through Newark's industrial district, arriving at the abandoned warehouse glowing under flickering floodlights. Officers had the perimeter secured. Inside, they found a trail of footprints through dust-coated concrete, leading to a back exit. And there, under the rusted loading dock, lay a bag. Inside was a handgun, wiped clean, a jacket with a torn patch of fabric matching the scrap Marla found, and a burner phone. One message sat unsent on the screen. Wasn't supposed to be this way. Luis was gone. The case, seemingly solved, wasn't solved at all. 3 months later, when everyone thought the city had finally exhaled, another shooting struck. Same style, same precision, same signature. A message left at the scene: you stopped digging too soon. And if you thought this story was intense, you're not ready for what's coming next. Hit subscribe so you don't miss the next case.